can hear me from there, but we got the new exhaust in. So we're gonna go ahead and install this. First thing, remove the old exhaust. We're gonna start with the heat shields. I don't think I need to do that. Yeah, heat shields and O2 sensors.
So at this point I was still continuing to take off the heat shields. I believe you use a 5/16 socket to do so. And I brought out my little dog to help me. So besides the 5/16 socket, you could use a flathead screwdriver as well. As you can see, I've already gotten the top heat shield off. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video at this point since I'm just going to be taking off the heat shields. So shortly after here, I realized that in order to take the bottom heat shield off, I was going to need to loosen up the lower controls just so they can swing down out of the way. So to swing those controls out of the way, you need a T45 Torx bit. I got it at Harbor Freight. Got the whole set for like 10 bucks. Harbor Freight's awesome. Yeah, so after I swung those controls out of the way, I was able to take the heat shield off. Yeah, so as you can see, it's nighttime now. I decided to take a little break because whenever I try to do things in one sitting, I end up getting frustrated and making mistakes. So, took a little break and came back out, and as you can see, I'm removing the heat shields from the mufflers now. Same thing as the header pipe. It's a 5/16 wrench. And after you remove the clamps, the heat shield should just pull off. Here I was loosening the two Allen bolts that hold the mufflers to the bracket. Besides loosening the Allen bolts, you need to loosen the nuts on the studs coming out of the head. And the socket to use for the exhaust going into the head is a 1/2 inch with a swivel. At this point, what you want to do is remove the old flanges as well as the retaining rings and the O2 sensor from the stock exhaust that you just took off, because you're going to end up reusing them on the aftermarket exhaust. Alright, so what I did right here is I grabbed some tape from inside the house and I marked the O2 sensors as I was taking them out, either front or rear, so I know exactly which jug they went into. I don't know if that's necessary, but that's just what I did. At this point, I'm installing the flanges as well as the retaining rings back onto the new exhaust. Alright, so right here I was mounting the exhaust up to the heads. Before I did this, I couldn't find the video, but I installed new exhaust gaskets. It only cost $10 on Revzilla for a pair of Vance and Hines exhaust gaskets, so I went ahead and did that. But yeah, put these up to the head. Don't tighten them down with a wrench yet. Just get them hand tight so the exhaust is hanging. Wait until you get everything in place before tightening anything down. Doesn't really matter when you decide to do this, but I just decided to do it now while I have the exhaust up. I went ahead and plugged back in the O2 sensor plugs onto the bike so I don't forget later. Right here I fitted the muffler onto the pipe. Before I did this, I couldn't find the video. You have to install the supplied bracket that they give you. It's really simple. It's only 2 bolts, 2 Allen. Alright, well, pretty much done. Last thing, just install the heat shields. Again, those are 5/16 clamps. Tighten them up. I got them, what I did is I got them pretty tight, and then I turned them around behind the pipe so you can't see them anymore, and I tightened them down with a flathead screwdriver. So last thing to do here is just tighten everything up. Head bolts, where the muffler mounts up to the bracket, everything. Make sure everything's tight. If you haven't already, I suggest buying a service manual so you can torque it down to specification. And also, after about 50 miles of riding, check them again to make sure that they're torqued down. Ooh, almost forgot. You want to make sure to get that control back up in place and torque it down to spec. But that should wrap it up. After you do that, everything's good to go. Congratulations, you just installed an aftermarket exhaust. Before you go riding, you need to install a fuel tuner.